Hello and welcome to MotorCult episode 54. I am Eric Berger, joined as always by my co-host Ryan Sinitsky, playing with one of the chimes I see.
Hello there.
Hello.
Yes.
Oh man, I forgot to grab a beer before we started. Oh, thank you.
There we go.
Excellent. I now have a Warsteiner Oktoberfest, which I found at a really crappy liquor store on the way down here.
Yeah, I
a
really
while
wanted.
ago.
I really wanted to try that. Hey, Corey,
I
could
have
you
a
give me a beer?
bottle opener.
All right. Thank you, Corey. Our sound
Anyway.
designer is doing what we pay him to do.
Yep, which is doing something with photo capture. It's interesting. I don't exactly know what's going on there.
Oh, he got locked out of his Pornhub account.
Oh no.
No,
Are
it's
you
all right.
trying to confirm that you're a human?
No. Corey, get me a Warsteiner.
Warsteiner? I think they're in the bottom drawer. Oh, it's going really well over there. Anyhow, all right, so yeah, welcome back. I want to start with just horrible news right off the bat because we don't have a guest to bombard them with questions, but BMW has finally done it. They've announced their X7, their gigantic three-row crossover.
Of course I did.
They've been hinting at this thing for more than 10 years, and now they're finally doing it. And
Is
it was
awful
never
looking?
going to be good, but
Can we get a picture of
yeah,
how awful it is?
I'll pull up a photo. It's probably the worst thing I've ever seen. The kidney grills. If this is the new corporate style they're going to go with.
Oh, that is bad. That looks like
Yeah,
that looks
so-
like a Geely version of a BMW.
1/3 of the entire frontal area is now a kidney grill. It's truly gawpingly awful.
It looks like a BMW with kidney cancer.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
kidneys are just all
When they
grown and
swell,
ready to die.
yeah, exactly.
Like it's just like they need to be removed.
Yeah, so I don't know exactly what they were thinking here. And like I said, if this is the new corporate style, we saw kidney grills like this actually on like an M1 homage that they did with like Zagato last year at a show.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what the hell did you do with those kidney grills? And apparently somebody loved them. So they put them and they stapled them on this vehicle, which I'm fine with, I guess, because like I'm never gonna be in the market for one of these. I'm never gonna buy
No,
one.
but I mean, well, the thing is, I mean, with that car,
Yeah.
they are just marketing to the people that will buy that car, which
Yeah.
should be the douchey bro that wants to say BMW,
Yep.
and nothing says BMW like kidneys that are full of untreated urea.
Let's take the one design element that we still have from our past and totally Indiana Jones it.
No, it looks like
Did you say just treat it for urea?
no, it's just full of untreated urea. Just
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
Ugh.
It was like,
Is that the diesel exhaust fluid?
No, but that's what makes piss smell like piss.
Oh.
It reminds me of a Sangyang.
Which Sangyang?
I'm looking it up. I think
Okay.
somewhere between the Sangyang Rexton and the Sangyang Trivoli.
Okay.
It-
I
it's-
would have to look up both of those.
They're not good-looking vehicles. They're Korean or Chinese or something, and they're
Are they
not-
made out of Chinesium?
Oh no, the Liv one. That's what I was thinking of.
How do you spell it?
LIV-1 SSANGYONG.
And what was the model?
LIV-1.
Oh,
It reminds me of that.
this looks way better.
Yeah, but that's also like a significantly worse, like just awful.
If somebody just took this X7
Vehicle.
and badge engineered it, it would be a lot better.
yeah, no,
If they just put like a different corporate nose on it. I mean, that could be a Q7. Just
I'd say that'd be a really nice Audi, or it'd be like a really awesome Geely.
or like now that Toyota and BMW are kind of in bed together with the Supra and the Z4, what if this was the new Sequoia with a Toyota front end on it?
Yeah,
That would be a lot
That
better.
would be a fantastic Sequoia.
Especially if they put a Toyota engine in it. Like the 5.7 V8, which we all seem to like.
yeah,
I'm actually kind of curious why Toyota hasn't they haven't done anything really with turbocharging except for that Lexus 200T engine.
they Toyota's. Yeah, I'm not sure, but I would imagine the most likely reason for that is that Akado Toyota is like a really old school car enthusiast kind of guy where he believes in high revving engines and tries to do the best he can with.
Well, I mean, their engines are really good. I'm just surprised that they're able to
Yeah.
do it with carbon standpoint these days.
I think that's the thing is they're just very limited by that. But yeah, no, that BMW would be fantastic if it was made by like Dongfeng Motor Corporation or like
It looks like a
FAW.
knockoff.
It really does.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
it honestly it looks like something made by Great Wall Motors or Brilliance or BYD.
Yeah.
Just like one of those weird.
It's
Chinese
a Guangxi Chump Cheap.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god, look at the front on view.
That doesn't look that good. And you know what that's gonna do? It's like hotcakes. Because everybody that has that car. Oh
I'll trade you beers since you also don't have an opener.
no, I do.
Oh, sorry. I
That's all
stole
right.
your thunder then. Congratulations on now having a beer.
It's a really good beer.
Thank you for the opener, Corey.
But no, I don't know. It doesn't look good. But I guess the person that's gonna buy it's gonna be a complete douchebag, and
Yeah.
might as well go full into that market.
Maple Grove is going to be thick with these things.
Oh, you mean Excelsior?
All of them.
Yeah,
Anything Suburbia, Exurbia.
Like the upscale suburban, like every kid in Edina High School is gonna be jonesing after this truck.
Exactly. Yes.
So
It makes me so sad. BMW used to be such a good company, but like now we have to focus on other car manufacturers that are still doing good things instead of them.
yeah, no, that's the thing that's the biggest issue I have with this is they've historically been like
That is
that.
good beer.
They've been historically the kind of that's the standpoint of like what a driver's car should be as a BMW, and they were the benchmark.
Yeah.
And they're really putting that down. They're not being
Yes.
the benchmark anymore because it used to be if you wanted to make a sports sedan or like a midsize one, I guess you'd base it off of the M3 or the 3 Series.
They were the performance yardsticks, and they still
Yeah.
kind of are in those few
yeah,
areas, but
but-
like nothing else. Like a
Yeah.
3 Series isn't a good benchmark anymore.
No, it's not. Well, that's the issue. Is the 3 Series historically has been the benchmark. So
Well, the M3 has been.
what is what? No, I mean for the normal version.
Oh, okay.
What is that benchmark now?
That's a good question.
'Cause-
So, are you specifically talking like the 3 Series-esque segment?
Well, I think we should just like all the things that BMW used to be a benchmark for. Those are all reasonable things to ask because I mean, they're in 5 years they're going to be just another car company that does not matter at all.
Yeah.
Nobody's gonna care about them.
At least in the enthusiast realm.
No, I mean the thing is that what they're going to be doing is they're just pandering to people for sales and
Yeah. Well, I mean that's how they have to kind of do it. Though.
yeah,
I
no,
mean,
you have to.
they're
But at the same time,
pushing the volume stuff.
but at the same time, Mercedes does that. But the S Class is still the benchmark for a full size luxury car.
yeah.
BMW isn't that anymore.
No, I mean they're still the benchmark in like the M division, but that's it.
Yeah,
So
so
they
I
don't
mean,
have anything else that stands
I
out.
I think within 10 years that all the M division stuff it's to be just kind of just a name stapled on the
Yeah. Well,
like-
they're already doing that. I guarantee this X7's got an M Sport version. It's probably got like 20 M badges on it.
yeah, or like the Lexus with the F
Sport,
whatever.
and Audi with the S line.
Yeah, exactly.
And then
It just-
Mercedes with AMG Sport.
yeah,
I mean, it's all so diluted now.
it really is, and that's kind of the issue. I mean, the thing is when you have to have a secondary
Yeah.
name for your performance cars, it's like Toyota. They've got TRD, right? But then they also have GRMN, and so the TRD is like usually it used to be that was a performance version, but now that's the appearance package, and GRMN
Right.
is the actual performance. I feel like BMW, if they're gonna want to be still relevant to enthusiasts, they're gonna have to do that.
I think so too. And I'll be curious to see where they go. I kind of hope they start really pushing more on the I division.
Yeah, I think it's probably what they're
'Cause,
doing.
I mean, other than the M cars that still offer manuals, I mean, that's the only. What am I hearing?
Gianna's
Oh.
just getting really angry playing Battle Block Theater.
I guess I'll turn off her mic for now. But yeah, the I division, aside from the manual M cars, is the only part of the company I'm even paying attention to anymore.
Yeah,
Because I mean, the product there is really good, and they're continually improving it. I mean, they've already updated the battery on the i3 once, and they're going to do it again next year. That's going to be almost double what the original one was. The i8, which I actually like a lot, other than the fact that it's a plug-in hybrid, that kind of bothers me, but it's fast, it's light, it's got EV stuff. They're doubling the battery on that next year.
That's fantastic,
So it's actually
yeah.
going to have a usable EV range, which is kind of cool.
that's gonna be really awesome.
And they've got, a lot of plug-in models. They used to sell a full electric 1 Series
No way.
for a couple of years.
That sounds. I would buy that.
pretty cool.
That'd be really cool.
They're really hard to find.
I think if they double down on their I division, I think that would help.
and I think they will.
because I feel like what BMW has for them is they have the engineering capability to make a very good car, a very good handling car.
Absolutely.
And really, with Tesla, I mean, there's two ways to combat Tesla. You can make a car that drives a hell of a lot better than a Tesla, or you can make a car that's more reliable than a Tesla.
Well,
And
I guess. I mean, the Tesla Model 3 actually drives 3 Series good. I mean, it really
well,
does.
but that's the thing is that's how you would, take Tesla off of being the benchmark for an electric car.
Right.
Is it has to be better and or more reliable.
Yeah. Or at least a more attractive price proposition.
Yeah. And that's the thing. For a long time, that's what made BMW so great. Is like that's why we were talking about the E30 episode. The E30 really, it was a car that not only was a fantastic driving car, but you could put it away wet and pick up the next morning and it'll still work.
Yeah.
And, you could do that with the Alfa Romeo, but it's not going to work the next morning.
Right.
Or you could do it with a Mercedes, it will work, but it won't drive as well.
Yeah, I'll be curious. I mean, a lot of the, I guess this is turning into an EV podcast on my side, which is fine, I guess. But Tesla, they make a lot of their own componentry, like their inverters, their battery management system. Yeah. That's all them, and I'm sure it's really well made. But like the rest of the industry just kind of goes to Bosch and phones it in. Yeah. And we know Bosch stuff works. I mean, E30s are made out of Bosch parts. Those things handle abuse really well. They've been engineering around idiots for 30, 40, 50 years.
Well, they have been, but at the same time, Bosch also, they can make some real stinker parts, too.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they're not without fault.
I'll be curious to see, like, which one of those systems weathers better.
I think, that's a very good point to raise, where it's very easy to say, Bosch, I'm rooting for Tesla. I really want them to... I want them to just take the entire industry down a peg. I think it'd be fantastic because there's a lot of garbage I'm not a big fan of. General Motors are masters of that. But
they're the masters at everything bad.
Yeah, but I mean, I really want to watch Tesla take people like BMW where they're just beginning to pander down a peg, where Tesla actually will make a product that an enthusiast wants to own. I think that's probably the most important thing here.
I do think their heart's in the right place, even though they're getting there in like a completely backward way.
Tesla?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, they are. Well, I mean, it's also a startup. I mean, if the Tucker torpedo or whatever it was.
I thought you were gonna say Tucker Tucker.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Though, right?
Yeah, the car with like it was really well styled and all that too.
I feel like if that took off, that would have the same kind of issues that Tesla's having. I mean, every single car brand has always started out with some weird issue.
Yeah, the movers and shakers. I mean, it seems like most industries that are commonplace today have had one or two like really big paradigm shifts.
Yeah.
And it's like computers. It was Apple in 1984.
Well, Apple or Microsoft even. Yeah.
Yep.
And I think that compared to
it was the Alexa.
Oh, it was the Alexa.
oh, right. That one responds to
computer. Computadora. There we go. Perfect.
I did not even know those things had mic mute buttons.
Now you know. I don't think it actually works. I think Jeff Bezos is still listening to us personally.
Hi, Jeff Bezos.
You're welcome.
Hello, industrious little fellows.
You're welcome on whenever you want.
Looking for sponsorship deals?
Yeah, we are.
That doesn't even matter what kind of sponsorship. Sponsor us with toilet paper.
But no, back to my whole thing with BMW. I do want to go further into looking at like, well, what benchmarks are they setting themselves away from? And I want to look more into that. I think we're going to do it on a future episode.
Sure.
But
I mean, we haven't done like a full BMW episode, but I mean, I don't think we really can.
Well, it's too nebulous. It's like saying, hey, let's have a Japanese car episode. It's 12 hours long.
We just need to avoid those because, we are unhealthy people.
Yeah, no, we will.
But yeah, so you're okay. Coming back to that, so you're talking about what BMW used to be really good at and now is not.
Well, I guess I'm wondering, since they're stepping away from the mantle, they're getting off of the podium for like being the benchmark of the the sports sedan, the 3 Series. Who's going to take that over? Is it going to be Kia with a Stinger? Is it going to be Lexus?
Stinger's a midsize.
Yeah. Is it going to be Lexus with the IS 250? Are they going to revamp that and make that actually like something that's really good? Because it's a good car.
I honestly think Genesis is.
I really think the Koreans are coming up to the plate. I think the only thing that would stop the Koreans right now would be if
Kim Jong-un?
No, I think actually Japan.
Okay.
Because what I'm seeing just in the Japanese car world, the people that are in positions of power, Mazda with their engineering director, who is one of the technical editors from Sport Compact Car Magazine. These guys finger on the pulse of what an enthusiast wants. I think if Mazda really, they have the capability of doing that, of becoming the next, like benchmark.
I think so too, and I think it will be somewhere in Asia.
Yeah,
Because I mean, those people.
definitely, yeah.
They're making a more reliable car.
Yeah, and I think Akado Toyota, what he's done for Toyota. I mean, if you look at Toyota now versus where they were 10 years ago,
Yeah.
You would not recognize them as a company. Because 10 years ago, Toyota was making every single car they made was automatic and boring, and now they have.
Well, they made the IS250 manual.
That's true.
That was
But-
pretty cool.
Yeah, they made a good car.
They did make
Yeah.
one for a couple
one
of years
for a long time.
and I
That's
think it was like an accident.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like that one got away from them. But even like Honda's even making a comeback, like because they're the CEO of Honda actually apologized for the last 10 years of Honda sucking, which is huge.
Well, I mean, the Type R is one of my favorite new cars.
That's what I mean because if you think about like where Honda and Toyota both were in 2008, they both made I guess 2008, 2012. They both made horrible cars.
Yeah, and very uninspired.
Yeah, awful cars.
Yeah.
And yeah, those are two companies where
Like a BMW X7.
exactly. Those are two companies where they have a completely different CEO with a completely different ethos for the company.
Yeah.
And taking them back to roots. So Honda's back to making very fun to drive, the best front-wheel drive cars you can get.
Yep.
Toyota's going back to making just everything fun to drive.
And still really reliable.
And still endlessly reliable, yeah. And I think that with Kia and Hyundai, they're going to be working because they are very close. I mean, the Kia Stinger, that one is
That's a very cool car.
that is a manual transmission away from being a perfect car.
And that's what the Genesis G70 is. It runs on Stinger running gears, just shorter.
yeah. I think that would be those two cars like that. If those came with a manual transmission, that would absolutely unseat everybody right now.
In that market, absolutely.
Yeah.
It would become the new yardstick because like the interiors are pretty nice. They're really good looking on the outside.
Yeah,
It's just no accident because they poached the old Audi exterior
Yes.
designer, and their
Yeah.
performance, the powertrain division's got the old M car guy, like Albrecht, whatever.
They've spent the last few years doing that. I mean,
They've poached the right people to make their
And
comeback.
I think the way that they were doing that, because the way they went around it was in a very strange way. Because when they poached the Audi engineer, the first thing that they did was they made the Kia Soul, which is not a expired.
It's not an inspired vehicle, but it's a very good vehicle.
Yeah,
it's
but-
like the Honda Element.
It was made. It had
utilitarian.
a niche market
Yeah.
that worked perfectly.
Old people.
Yeah, it was for old people
Another
that would
vehicle
want.
that was marketed toward young folk and driven exclusively by blue hairs.
Actually, no. It was, when they made that, they were competing directly with the Scion XB.
Okay.
But they made it so intentionally it was easier to get in without having to step into it. You'd step up onto it
Okay.
for old people. It's actually designed for old people, but marketed towards young people because they knew if they
I
marketed
just remember
towards
the hamsters, man.
yeah, if they marketed it towards young people, old people will buy. They learned everything from Scion.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that's literally what happened.
It's like reverse psychology
It
all
is.
over again.
Yeah, but they learned it all entirely from Scion. It's actually the Kia Soul is a very interesting car if you're into marketing. But no, that car, I mean, that was the first one that they made when they had the Audi design engineer. And then from there, they went with the BMW engineers and
Yeah.
stuff. And I think that they're very close to making a very good car.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, we talked about this a couple episodes ago, but I mean, if I were in the market right now for a compact, semi-luxury sports sedan, I would be pre-ordering a Genesis G70 200T.
Yeah,
I mean,
think
the biggest issue with those cars right now and those brands is value retention.
I think other than value retention, that fit and finish. I mean, I guess I haven't been in one recently, but
Genesis is trying like early '90s Lexus hard, so the fit and finish is actually pretty damn good.
yeah, but that's the thing is it still feels like a Hyundai because
But you're also paying 10 grand less than a 3 Series.
that's
so
true. But I mean, like it's just stuff like you turn on the stereo, and all the sounds really muddy.
Really?
Like it's not that great.
I would love to drive a G70 because I honestly don't know.
I guess I am basing this off of the first generation Genesis too.
Yeah,
'Cause that's the last
those are
time
very
I was-
Hyundai.
Yeah, those are very much so Hyundai. So I guess I haven't really been in the G70, but
Randy Stern, if you're listening, please get a G70
And bring it
then
here,
let us
yeah.
borrow it.
yeah, do that until I have money for us to join. Get like actual press credentials,
Yeah.
and then we'll give you
There we
much
go.
better reviews
Then
once
we'll
I
just
can
get
do
the G70 ourselves.
that. Yeah.
Anyway, I guess that's probably enough of a digression. The X7 sucks. I hate
Yes, and actually I took care of my other topic. So Anyway,
No worries.
when I walked in here, I saw a yellow thing.
Yeah.
That was kind of cool.
Yeah, there's a 2002 Lamborghini Murcielago downstairs.
They made that car for a long time.
They did. I mean, that ran all the way up until the Aventador, which I think was 2010, maybe even later.
It was later than that, yeah.
Okay, I think the final version of the Murcielago is the LP 570 SV, I think.
I'm just going to Google it so we know.
Yeah, and that one had the giant spoiler. It was like almost exclusively sold in orange.
Which is
670,
almost orange. This one's
670
yellow.
horsepower. Right, yeah. This one it's a first year, bright yellow, black interior, 6.2 V12, like 585 horsepower or something.
That's a ton of power.
It's
for
it's
that
got
era.
fab speed.
2001 to
pipes.
2010.
Okay, so it was 2010. And then the Aventador, I guess, was 2011. But yeah, no. So I'll kind of tell you the backstory on it, just without boring you too much. But
Yeah, I'm just looking at
My,
some fun facts about it. Wow,
my
it gets
oldest
9 miles per
brother-
gallon.
912 is the EPA rate, yeah. And it probably gets worse than that. So my oldest brother and my dad were down in Florida at our property, and I got some late night texts, and they were all links to Lamborghini Gallardo Spiders. I'm like,
Gross.
why? So, long story short, they were sending me early cars with the 5-liter V10. That engine's trash.
Yeah.
Really, really bad. It's like 2OT bad.
Oh no, I'm acutely aware.
And they were
Yeah.
and they were all e-gear cars, which is if you're not familiar with that, it's a single clutch automated manual transmission, like an F1 or an SMG, but it was bad. So I started sending them reciprocal links to 2011 and newer, or 2010 and newer Gallardos, just because the engine went to the 5.2 out of the R8, which was actually the TFSI or TSI engine, and that thing was actually pretty reliable. But finding a manual in those is really, really, really tough. So I'm like, okay, still sending them e-gears. And then I sent them a few R8s as well, because you can get those for you can get a V10 manual R8 for like 65 grand now. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's still an R8 though.
I mean, it's a really good car, but it doesn't drive any better than a BMW 3 Series.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel about it. It's
So what I did is I'm like, wonder what manual Murcielagos are going for. And I found they're going for a ton of money. And then I found this one car listed at a terrible dealership in upstate New York. Had a bad listing, had terrible wheels, had distasteful modifications done to it, but all fully reversible.
Was that
luckily.
this one?
That's this one.
okay.
And it was listed at $170,000. I'm like, interesting. So I text this guy. He's like a super East Coaster. I mean, you call him up on the phone, he's got that East Coast drawl twang in his voice. I'm like,
I'm
oh,
I'm imagining Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force.
it's
but,
not
like, wearing
too
a suit.
far off of that. Yeah. So anyway, I told the guy I'm interested in the car, but I want photos of the underbody, specifically the front left, because he wouldn't give a Carfax to me. So I ran one myself, and it's a clean title and everything, but it had a collision on record from when it was a year old in 2003. I'm like, I just want to see if it was fixed properly on the inside, and he said okay. 4 weeks later, I set a reminder, luckily, to text him again. Text him back, no reply. I'm like, I send him like a kind of a snooty message. I'm like, am I not good enough for you, man? Like, I told you I'm interested in your car. And he's like, oh, sorry. Sends me pictures the next day on a lift, thank God. No damage. So I'm like, okay, fine. I do the wheeling and dealing back and forth, get him down from 170 to 158.
Perfect.
We fly out, make sure it's actually okay, test drive it, it's fine, and it shows up on a truck yesterday evening.
One second, I just want to pause for a second.
Yeah.
$158,000. That car has retained its value like crazy.
And it's a $327,000 car in 2002.
That is an astonishing, because I mean a Countach
Yeah.
in 2002
Yeah.
would have been like 20, 30, 40,000. I think. I have no idea, but
Good Lord, should have bought a Countach.
yeah, no, they got hit with the depreciation stick, and then like late 90s, early 2000s. But anyway,
I mean, you can get a paddle Murcielago with some more miles on it for like 120 without too much issue.
yeah, and it's a paddle, and it's disgusting, and nobody wants that.
Exactly. And I think the 6-speed ones, I mean, they made, in 2002, they made 227 of those things worldwide with all different types of transmission.
Yeah.
So e-gear and manual. So I don't know how many were 6-speeds, but I'm guessing not that many.
Yeah.
And I mean, this one had fab speed cat pipes on it. It had some good stuff in it too. Pretty low miles, got 17,000 miles on it. Good service history. So we gambled on it, and it's really lovely to look at. I mean, it's a really, really striking car.
Unless you're really looking for it, that front end damage is not noticeable.
No, and they replaced the bumper and the left headlight, but they didn't replace the fender.
And that's the only thing. If you're staying at the car, I think if you're at like as opposed to being completely 180 degrees parallel with the front end, if you're at like 175 degrees, you'll notice that there's a little bit of a difference in
Yeah, it's
the
like an
angle.
1/8 inch out on the absolute front corner of that fender. Yeah,
But
but
you-
it's kind of nice to see because I mean it's congruent with the Carfax.
Yeah,
I'm like,
no,
oh, that
that's-
makes perfect sense. Okay,
yeah,
and it's
that's
been like
fine.
that for 15 years.
Yeah, it's totally fine. I mean, the thing is with that car, that at the end of the day,
Yeah.
that's still a Murcielago.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where I'm famous for saying that the only supercar I care about is the Countach.
Yeah,
And then I saw that you put a picture up on Instagram where Modi was looking. I'm like, that's a really cool looking car. But I
it's
mean,
still pretty striking.
it's-
Yeah,
that's
I do wish it had like more giant spoilers and stuff on it, but
yeah. I mean, the only reason I don't consider that like one of my favorite cars is for me to consider something one of my favorite cars, there has to be nothing else in the world that I want it to be.
sure.
And when I see it, I'm like, I want it to be a Countach really badly. But at the end of the day, if I'm seeing that versus, a Corvette, a Porsche 918, the Carrera GT, a lot of other supercars that some are worth more money than that, I still go and say that's probably the coolest one of the bunch.
Yeah.
So
I mean, and it's just the last of the breed, and I do think, I mean, I can't deny, I mean, we paid less for that car because it does have a crash on its Carfax, and it'll always be worth 30, 40 grand less than one that hasn't had a crash, but it's a clean title. So we're kind of right in a gray area where you don't buy one of those that's got a salvage title. You just don't buy an
No.
exotic with a salvage title.
No.
But like a clean title with, a history that makes sense,
Yeah.
they're still worth a bunch. So I don't know what their plan is, if they're planning to just drive it for a while and speculate it and, make money. I hope not. I hope they keep it, but it's fun to
Well,
have it in the garage.
you can drive it and still make money on it.
Oh, yeah.
Because, I mean, there's tons of people that bought Ferrari 308s just to
Yeah.
drive it, and then one day woke up and found out that their 308 had appreciated like Tilray stock and just like
Yeah.
was through the roof.
And again, I mean, these, Matt Farah on Smoking Tire,
Yeah.
he's mentioned independently 2 times just in passing in his episodes because I listen to that podcast pretty
Yeah.
religiously. Now is the time to buy manual Murchis.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
It
I-
really is.
I
It's
agree.
not going to get any cheaper.
You're right. They're definitely at the bottom of their
I
depreciation curve.
wish that they would get a little bit cheaper, but there's a reason if I were to buy a supercar, I'd be buying a Ferrari because it's
And that's the thing. Like,
going to be a little bit cheaper.
I was driving the 355 all day yesterday. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is way better than like 1/3 as good as that Murcielago. So I'm totally fine with this.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, it's the amount of fun per dollar
Yeah,
thing.
I mean, that
and-
thing was expensive, but not expensive enough where I'm gonna like lose my mind if somebody door dings it or something like that.
Yeah, and well, I think the other thing is that your Ferrari, I would put that closer to like the top end of like a sports car, than
Yeah.
being a supercar, because
Yeah.
that Ferrari is just a legitimately good car.
Yeah.
It's a supercar is a car that excels in one thing only.
Okay.
So Countach is only good for aesthetics.
Yeah, it's really
Yeah.
good to look at.
Yeah, it's really good to look at. The Enzo's really good to drive. It's
Yep.
not that special to look at.
Right, right.
So that's what I mean. That's what a supercar is. Whereas a hypercar is good at everything. Yeah,
That hypercar is not great to
I
look out.
wouldn't really call
look
that a
out of.
hypercar.
It's a hypercar.
No, it's not a hypercar. It's like
The
that's a,
Countach, sorry, not
no,
the Countach. I
that's
think the Countach kind of started maybe it was the Diablo, but I mean they broke out. I mean when the cars got so big and so powerful, people call them a hypercar for a reason.
well. I mean, that's the thing. Would you compete that against a McLaren F1 or a Bugatti EB110?
Sure. I mean it's similarly fast.
Well, does
It's actually
does it
faster.
handle as well? Is it?
We just watched the 2002 Top Gear on that thing, and it was like considerably faster than a Zonda and a Koenigsegg around the test
So,
track.
I guess that would be.
So-
I guess that'd be a hypercar then. Yeah.
and that was with a stick.
If you have a Patreon here at MotorCult, let us know if you think that the Murcielago is a supercar or a hypercar.
Yes.
I still consider it a supercar though, because
We could post a poll on the Facebook
I think
page.
it's one of those things where that is in that gap where it's the best supercar or the worst hypercar. Whereas like your Ferrari is kind of like that between sports car and
supercar,
It's
yeah.
like it's on the bottom.
It's kind of a
end
fringe car.
yeah,
I think. I
it's-
mean, this one, the early Murcielago, is not as much a hypercar as like the 674
yeah,
SV, the last one.
Yeah.
Like that thing's just bananas.
exactly. I think that's exactly what I'm thinking about. Whereas like I think for something to be considered a hypercar, I think I would say the most basic version of it.
Sure.
So like a CCX
Yeah.
versus a EB110
Yep.
versus a McLaren F1, all of those, the
This
original
is a car that evolved into a hypercar.
Yeah, it evolved into it. All of those ones are born a hypercar.
Right.
And whereas, like, yeah, that was born, and then your car was born a sports car and became, a supercar.
I mean, yeah, the 348 was
47.
definitely a sports car, and this is an evolution of that.
Did you know that there was actually an automatic 348?
Really?
Yeah. I
like
found,
like a torque converter auto?
no, it was an electric clutch.
Like a pre-selection box or what?
Yeah.
Oh, gross.
Yeah, I found that on BAT.
Oh, that's so terrible. Is it still active on BAT?
No, it did not hit reserve, shockingly.
Oh.
Oh, no, actually, no, it wasn't even that. No, it was a Mondial, actually.
Interesting. Oh, that would have been so bad.
I think it was a Mondial to Vallejo clutch or something.
Oh, cool. Man, that's so bad. Are you Googling it?
Yeah, I think it's actually called the
Okay.
Mondial Vallejo.
Vallejo? Huh. And I wonder if that's like an Italian word for something else, because obviously Vallejo is a clutch company. But
Yeah, I think it was. It was. Yep, it was the Mondial Vallejo. It's the auto clutch.
Wow. So I wonder if that system was designed by Vallejo and just
Yeah.
implemented on
Yeah,
Mondial.
it was
Okay.
exactly that. But yeah, shockingly, it did not hit reserve.
What did it get bid up to?
I think it hit like $40,000.
It's probably like a 1 of 5 car. Or
Yeah,
something.
it was really clean. It was probably the nicest one in the world.
Well,
It
don't
was
worry, we
just
can
like-
rip the engine and transmission now. We got a lot of options.
Yeah, exactly. It's just no.
Wonder if it's a QV.
So I just want to. I think we should take a moment. I want to go to a completely different topic for a moment.
sure.
I was on Speed Hunters. I think it was on Thursday or Wednesday or something, and I logged into their homepage, and it had a picture of Frederic Asabo.
Oh, jeez. This is hard to look at.
Yeah, and Frederic Asabo, I'm like, what does he look like? That guy doesn't look like a normal human. And I realized he looks just like RObbie Rotten from Lazytown. Could you bring up a picture for the people on our Twitch stream of what RObbie Rotten from Lazytown
Can you
looks
put a
like?
link in the Google Drive and then I'll just pull it up?
Like, I'm on this little pink computer.
Oh, okay,
it will
fine.
take me 3 times as long. Just
Robbie.
ROBBIE, Rotten, and then type in you don't even have to type in Lazytown. Just look up that and you'll find it. Yeah, there you go. That's Frederic Asabo. That is literally
So let me
him.
pull up the photo here, and we'll double blind it here. Okay, yeah, he's got the same mouth shape
The
and
same-
same
it's-
ridiculous jaw.
It's the same person. That's the same person right there. RObbie Rotten and Frederic Asabo.
Wow.
Underneath
This
that,
is useful consumer advice here. This
yes.
is
So
really
if
good.
you are into Rockstar Drift Team, just realize that their driver is identical to RObbie Rotten.
He is number 1.
Yeah, he is. Actually, no, he was, because he actually won.
number oneist.
Yeah, he is the number oneest.
That is, I'm terrified of that. Okay. Now, we were talking about this beforehand, but okay, so I'm not familiar with Lazytown, except for that one, like, Lil Jon remix, but is it like a parody group?
Jana?
No, it's it's literally a kids show from like when Corey and I were like children.
It's like 5 years ago?
No, like probably
It
like,
became a thing like right after we like became teenagers, I guess.
Oh.
yeah, it was.
Okay.
And
So, like,
I mean,
2004?
yeah,
probably.
probably around that
Okay.
time, maybe a little bit earlier,
Okay.
because that's when I would have been starting high school.
It was on like PBS or something.
No, it was on like Nickelodeon.
It wasn't on the YouTubes?
It was on Nickelodeon, and it
Oh, Nickelodeon rip.
resurged
terrible
as
now.
a meme recently because a lot of the songs are just simple bangers. Like you just
Wha-
listen to them and they're great.
Not only that, it was
What is
actually
a simple banger?
It's something you can just get down to, I guess. I don't
s-
know.
another thing is
I'm
actually
trying to use slang, but I'm not good at it.
not only that, you also your allergies are
Yeah, my
killing you.
allergies are.
Well, they're not as
ridiculous.
bad as they were like 3 or 4 episodes
Yeah,
ago.
when
we
when
went to
you
Milwaukee.
you literally turned
Yeah.
into Trig, yeah.
Yeah, I was very
It
confused.
was-
at
it
all
was
of this
awful.
stuff.
Strange. My allergies just act up like that sometimes. But yeah.
So another thing is actually the guy who played RObbie Rotten had cancer, and it's actually the internet getting together on Reddit and trying to support him and keep his spirits up and make him like famous again.
Well,
so,
let's get him a Rockstar contract, I guess.
He
unfortunately,
died.
passed away about a month ago.
Let's get him a Rockstar contract, I guess.
Yep, exactly.
Let's
yeah.
deck that coffin out in super Rockstar regalia.
Send it out the right way.
Yikes. Send.
I really hope in his coffin he's in like full RObbie Rotten regalia and just like
Like the
Like,
fake nose.
the
and
fake
that.
nose and everything. Like they're
the
gonna like,
ridiculously
he's gonna-
pronounced jaw.
he's gonna be like, exhumed in 300 years looking like
Maybe-
that.
What was the girl's name on Lazytown? I should be her for Halloween.
I
Yeah,
think
you absolutely
Corey's
should.
using the power of the Googles. Also, how is your laptop now that you have it back from repair, Corey?
Hang on, let me see if Candy Crush has reinstalled itself again.
How many times
For
is
the
that now?
15th time.
6 times.
6 times.
I wasn't
Candy
too far
Crush
off.
installed
They really
itself.
want you to Candy Crush. Crush that candy.
Yeah, until I finally locked out the hard drive from Microsoft.
That is hilarious.
I'm protecting you from yourself.
I told Corey what he should do is he should put. Oh, Stephanie. Oh my God,
Stephanie.
Janet.
Oh,
that looks
yeah.
just like you.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put on a
Pink
pink wig again, that would just be you.
No, if yeah, I was telling Corey he should just get a hard drive that's exactly the size of Windows 10, so they just can't update and put garbage on it.
They'd still find a way.
Well, when you sent it
Yeah,
in,
they would delete Windows Explorer and give you Candy Crush.
he'd already gone through all the process of removing all that stuff, but they wiped both the drives and they put a fresh install on it. And as we all know, it's tough to get Windows 10 to cooperate properly.
Yeah, it took him like
I wonder if the computer I
day.
bought for OBS here, does this have Candy Crush on it?
It'll
It
be in that
does.
Start menu.
Ah, it has Candy Crush on it.
Throw it. Throw it.
No,
terrible.
it works fine for the streaming.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to topics. God, I'm talking about EVs again. Whatever.
It's
all right,
just
so
all you ever talk about.
I like them. It's good. I mean, if there were stories about BMW bringing back the manual, great. I'd pay
It's-
attention to that.
Things like this are why I talk about pre-war cars because we balance it out and we get
Fine.
roughly something made in the 90s.
Fine. So anyway, everyone knows I drive a Fiat 500e. That's my daily driver. I put the winter tires on it today. There's a company called Scuderia, which just means team, in Italy.
Scuderia
but
E.
Scuderia E, fine, whatever. They're in Germany, and they imported one of these 500es, and you could tell it's in Germany because they actually have Euro headlights on it, which are non-projector. They're reflector housing, which is kind of strange.
That's so
It's
weird
required
and like
for-
not
yeah.
as good.
I know. So they're required to do a few changes, just like you are when you bring cars in here. But what they did is they took out the entire battery pack out of the bottom of this thing. They measured everything. They put it into CAD, and they made their own 18650 based battery pack, which, as far as I know, doesn't have thermal management, which is a little bit weird. So what that basically amounts to is they took out the original batteries that kind of just look like car batteries, and they put in much, much more dense batteries out of, let's say, a Tesla Model S. And they are able to squeeze a ton more in for that same amount of space. So they brought the factory 24 kilowatt hour, which is the power rating on the original Fiat 500e, up to 56 kilowatt hours. And I actually was talking with these guys on the internet last week because the main reason I hadn't taken the battery out of my car and put bigger batteries in it is because I figured the car would just ignore the extra capacity and just only
did it
use.
actually work?
Yeah, they did. Because apparently, I was talking to these guys. It doesn't pay attention to how many kilowatt hours it's used. It just pays attention to battery voltage, and it just draws thresholds on battery voltage.
Really?
So if you have a much bigger battery, that 400.8 volts to like 390.2 volts or whatever the range is. I'm just making that up. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more capacity behind that
Each
entire
other, yeah.
range. So apparently, they're able to get like almost 170 miles out of this 500e.
So it didn't make any more power, but it just extended the hell out of the range.
And it's probably heavier.
Have you been pestering that man at Bosch about?
No, he hasn't responded yet. I think he's still in China. But I mean, this kind of answers a lot of the questions I had for that guy. I mean, obviously, I want the power unlocked, so I mean, I'd like to get more information from the powertrain engineer.
Exactly.
but-
Yeah.
So what these guys did, they did this with sponsorship just so they could drive this thing from Germany to like Wales or something. I don't know. And they added CCS DC fast charging, but the port is under the hood. So there's pictures of their road trip, and this thing's plugged in at like these official DC fast charge stations, and the hood's up, and this cable's just like jammed into the inverter, which is all just like wires everywhere. I don't have very good photos
Looks like
up
a
here.
fire
but
hazard.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. I mean, they more than doubled the capacity, and the fast charge lets them charge that thing 80% in 20 minutes with that CCS connector, which is super
That's
cool.
really cool.
Really nice. So I just wanted to touch on that. I want to do something like this to my car when I get a new EV for my daily, when this becomes a project.
How much horsepower does your?
It's 111 horsepower and 158 foot-pounds.
I want to put all that into MR2.
It would be pretty rad.
Yeah, that'd be a perfect MR. That'd be a perfect MR. Well, no, because it's about the same amount of horsepower as an MR2, just a hell of a lot more torque.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
think that'd be really cool.
compare that to a gas 500e. I mean, it's like, yeah, buddy.
Yeah, no, I mean you're only 20 behind on a Barth. I mean,
Yeah, and it's quite a bit faster because it's got more torque
Yeah, that's very cool. I like
More
that a lot.
twist. Yeah, no, props to those guys. I'll be talking to them more in the future to try to figure this out. I think if I do a battery upgrade, it's just going to be i3 batteries, though. It's a lot easier, even though it's more expensive.
Yeah, probably.
Anyhow.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's whatever.
So I'm sorry, I moved my stinger thing up a little bit. A bit.
That's fine.
Yeah, so yeah, I do not have anything to talk about with the Kia Stinger.
Well, other than the fact that they should put a manual in it.
Yes, I should. However, I do want to mention my van, my daily driver, my Mazda 5.
Yes.
Um,
You finally getting the trans replaced under warranty?
yes, I am.
Good.
And it actually went through all very well.
Very nice.
They're not going to do a clutch, but that sucks.
Can you pay them extra for one or no?
Well, yeah, I can just have my tech do it. But all right, so this is a thing.
Okay.
I had a shop do a clutch for me because it was a weird time in my life where I did not have a heated garage. I was working full time. I was a car salesperson who could not use the garage to do my own clutch, and I needed to get to work in 3 days.
Yep.
So I needed to take it to a shop. Anyway, I think this shop might botch doing my clutch. So because it's doing some weird things just mechanically when you when you get down to the nitty gritty of it, like just stuff like the throw-out bearings like chattering and stuff.
They
and
probably put a really cheap clutch in it. I've had
That's what I'm
bad
thinking,
things with
yeah.
the pressure plates.
yeah, they all seem to be pressure plate related issues. So
Great.
anyway, yeah,
Well, I would definitely try to pay to put a clutch in it.
well, I just have them warranty it out if it turns out to be an issue because I'm that sort of person. But or I don't know.
I would just slip them $150 and have them put a clutch in it.
I'm as I was saying, like, hey, you guys did that. Here's an Exetti clutch. I will never come back if you put this in. So
I will sign something.
I will sign something. This will never be your problem again if you just do this correctly once. But yeah, no. So I ended up just going with the normal Mazda 5 transmission. I was mentioning I was thinking about going with the 6-speed on it, and I will go into the ins and outs of that 6-speed. I learned a lot of stuff about that. I'll go into that during interesting engineering at the end of the episode.
Okay.
But needless to say, turns out once again the Mazda 5, it seems to be like the ultimate version mechanically of a Mazda 3. So not only are the brakes bigger than the Speed 3, the transmission is slightly different geared. It's slightly differently geared in fifth gear. It's a slightly longer fifth gear. So
Longer.
yeah,
Interesting.
but yeah, because I mean, when you're sitting at 80, you're going 80 miles an hour, you're like deep into the 3,000 RPM range. You're like 3,600
Sure.
RPM.
Still 4-cylinder.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a really short fifth gear on a 3. If you're in this transmission, you're sitting around 34. The only version of this van that would be better for a transmission is if I got fifth gear out of a Mazda 5 diesel from Europe, which apparently existed.
Uber tall.
It's instead of being, I think it's like 3.45 for the final drive in fifth gear. For the fifth gear ratio, it's like 3.2 on the diesel, which does
Well,
help
generally
with it.
that kind of gear ratio would be like 0.86 or like 0.79 or something like that.
Oh yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, so
I think you're talking final drive.
I was talking final drive. I'll have to look up the actual spec. This is also something I learned on Thursday, so I'm going
All right.
go off like 2-day-old memory.
But
so.
I'm guessing you're not going to buy a 50.
No, not
diesel
worth.
Mazda
Not
5.
is not worth my effort because I do not want to have to tear apart this perfectly fine transmission. But yeah, it's got half miles on. I'm really excited about it.
Very cool. That'll be nice to have second gear that works again.
Yeah, it would be really nice to have that and to have a first gear that it will consistently shift into and a reverse that consistently works.
That would be really nice.
Really cool stuff.
It's amazing how well it's worked for how broken it's been for so long.
It's like a Lada. It's always half broken, but never fully. But no, what I'm really excited about is I got 5,000 miles left on this aftermarket warranty that I got, and I will say if you're thinking about buying a car where you're financing it, I'm 100% in favor of getting an aftermarket warranty.
As long as you do research on the aftermarket warranties, yes.
Yeah, and
There are some companies that are really bad.
well, there's some that are awful. But no, mine turned out really well.
Nice.
And I'm very happy about it. I mean, they didn't do like the clutch or anything, but also I got the cheapest warranty ever. They just, I was expecting them to like be like, I changed a headlight bulb myself and they're gonna void it. But no, they weren't like
Your car's
that at
on a
all.
blacklist. Why?
Yeah.
Headlight bulbs changed.
Yeah, exactly. No,
Can't do that, mate.
they sent out a inspector who's like an old technician. He went out, drove it. He goes, yeah, it did. Normally it grinds every single time you go into second. However, of course, that one morning, it grinded 3 times out of 20 shifts.
After we had worn it down really well.
Yeah, after
the
I'd
day
done.
before.
After I would just, because I always avoid second. I always
Yep.
go first to third.
Yep.
But this is, I always like just was going to second like every single time just to like beat the
You're like a
crap out of
Corvette
it.
transmission.
Yeah, just like to beat the shit out of it as much as I can. And yeah, it of course only did it like 3 times, but I'm like, great, I'm screwed now. I'm gonna have to do this transmission myself. This sucks. Yeah, comes back and goes, yeah, we're gonna put a new transmission in for it. Awesome. So
Sweet.
no, I'm really excited because the warranty's almost done, so I can get to having fun with it. I'm gonna replace the struts. I'm gonna do a Mazda Speed 3 rear sway bar, which is noticeably beefier.
No way.
Yeah, but well, I mean, like, because everything else in the Mazda 5 is bigger than the
Right,
Mazda
'cause it's a
3.
bigger, heavier vehicle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
I get
the rear sway bar is like a half an inch bigger on the Speed 3. It is.
I suppose those were front wheel drive still.
Yeah, it was really big by comparison. So I'm excited about that. It's probably not a half inch, but still, it's like 10 millimeters bigger.
Whatever.
Yeah.
That's pretty significant.
That is about a half an inch actually. Yeah,
I was
so
gonna say,
it's-
like the standard E30 rear sway bar is just over 10 millimeters.
yeah, so it is a massive sway bar. So I'm
Perfect.
excited
Make
to
it
put
much
that
more
in.
tail happy.
Yes,
be
exactly.
good.
So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put on coilovers, intake header, exhaust, do all the basics on it, and I think I'm gonna
Can I
probably
get some touring taillights?
oh yeah, definitely touring taillights, Black House,
Yeah.
08,
Headlights?
07, 08 headlight, or yeah, sorry, 08, 09 headlights, or Black House on the touring. So yeah, I'm
Heck yeah.
gonna do some cool stuff with it. I'm really excited.
Mint.
So
Well, I'm glad that's finally getting done.
yes,
It's been
finally.
a long time coming.
Yeah, it has been. I've had a very boring minivan for a while, so on paper, a very boring minivan. That's actually
still pretty
quite
cool.
fun to drive. Yeah,
That's pretty good.
yeah. So anyway, I'll let you
Well,
go
like
back
I
to
said,
telling us about.
No worries. Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I'm glad it's been a long time coming. So, moving right on to another thing that's been a long time coming. I don't know if you saw this, but Tesla actually released the reduced battery range Model 3, like pretty quietly a couple days ago. The one we've been waiting for, supposedly. However, it isn't.
Why?
The last couple of weeks, it's been like the 2 options were extended. It's okay. They only offer the big battery, but
Yeah.
you can get it rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive.
Okay.
The beginning of last week was the last time you could place an order for one, and they would guarantee that you get the full $7,500 tax credit taking delivery in 2018. At the end of that web page, it says standard battery coming 4 to 6 months. Okay, fine. That's the one I want.
Wow.
But earlier this week, they took away their rear-wheel drive extended battery version, and they replaced it with a medium range battery on the rear wheel drive only. So the all wheel drive option is
Yeah.
still the big battery, and the performance version is still the big battery too. But they still haven't given us the base battery. So they're giving us like a half measure, but they also took $4,000 off the price to cut the battery a little bit.
I wonder, are they losing money on the base?
They will once they release it. Absolutely. They're currently making money on every Model 3 they sell.
That's why they're
Exactly.
yeah. Well, because Tesla's they're still not profitable. So
No, but
trying-
they're showing profits on the Model 3s now, which is interesting.
Which is
So
huge, thank
eventually,
God.
maybe they'll actually turn a profit.
I mean,
Wow, a novel idea for a car company.
I really want them to do it because I don't want them to go away. I really don't want them to go away because,
All right.
like I said, it's a
I
bull.
think if they survive the whole SEC thing with Musk, they'll be okay for a while.
Well, I mean, Musk is already that's handled. That's
Yeah,
done.
I know.
mean, and he's,
And they did survive that, is what I'm saying.
yeah, I really think that they're gonna be okay because they got through their Preston Tucker ordeal that they had, and they made it. So
Full circle.
Well, Tucker was sued or pursued by the
SEC.
SEC
Yep.
twice.
Yes, it's
Yeah,
true.
The
and
first trial he went through,
a
but
tremendous
the second
amount of
one-
parallel.
yeah, but yeah, they're trying to do the same thing. So
And I get that. I mean, that's the model I would currently buy if I was buying something. But like, they only took $4,000 off the price, and the other models they took about $1,500 off. So they
Makes sense.
reduced
They're-
their prices, which
they're
is nice.
they're trying to incentivize you to just go ahead and get the full.
They are.
the full one,
And a
It
lot of
makes
people are
sense.
doing that. A lot
Yeah,
of
it
people are
makes sense.
jumping ship.
Oh yeah, I've seen them everywhere. I've seen
Right after I saw this article, I went on Car Gurus and I looked at Model S's again to see what the cheapest ones are down to. And now, like, consistently, there's a small handful under $30,000. And they almost all are private parties, and they almost all list only selling to get a Model 3. I'm like, waiting for these to come down even more.
Yep.
And I'm starting to see Model S's with almost 200,000 miles on them.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, there's some with like 180, 190,000 miles on them.
That's insane. That's a lot of driving.
I would want one with fewer, but like, if I could get it super cheap,
Yeah, exactly.
I would totally buy one with 185K on it.
Also, another thing, I will say I thought about this on the way here. I've seen more Model 3s only than I have seen of all Lincolns.
Oh, yeah. And probably, what's another brand that doesn't sell very well? Yeah.
Cadillac, Lincoln.
Like even Infinity. Like I don't see that many. I see way more Model 3s than I see anything Infinity.
Do they still make those? I mean,
I don't know. I think the names are so confusing. I can't even tell.
Ever since I went to Q, I've not seen any Infinities.
Yeah.
Like Q everything like that.
I see like an old JX. I'm like, oh, it's a QX60. No, it's a JX35.
Yeah.
So I think once they did their naming change, people were just like, I don't even know.
I don't know what I'm getting.
You go into the dealership like, oh, what do you want to test drive? I'm like, I don't know what it's called.
I want the medium sized one. Do you ever want the manual? Oh, you don't. I'll go. I'm gonna go Lexus. I'll see you guys later. Bye.
Do you have that Q50 Red Sport with a manual? No, it's our much superior automatic. Sorry, I'm leaving.
Nope. Don't care.
But anyway, on the heels of that, I mean that, like I said, their guaranteed delivery date where you had to order by is gone. So now every Tesla you're ordering today, it's very likely you're only going to get $3,750 instead of $50 or $7,500 for your tax credit.
That's still a lot more of a tax credit than you're getting from buying an F-150. So.
That's true, and I'm glad that it's still there for now, and that'll be good until about 6 months from now when it cuts in half again. Then 6 months after that, it's gone. But I don't know. I mean, I do want a Model 3, but like I want the standard one, and I really wanted a tax credit. So I think I'll probably end up with a used S instead of that, unless the first Model 3 is going to come down in price quite a bit. Because nobody's ordering the car how I would order the car, which is no options.
No options.
Maximum pain for Tesla as far as profit's concerned. No autopilot hardware, no extra fancy color, nothing.
I might do the extra fancy color.
Well, I mean, I don't like black that much on cars, and that's the only color that's free, but I would take a black one.
Yeah, I mean, do they have anything like actually exciting, like yellow or teal?
Nope. They have a blue, they have a red, and they got a bunch of.
I guess I go with the black, and then when I finance, I'd finance out extra $3,000 and then go vinyl wrap it or something.
Yep. Yeah, I mean a lot of people they're doing that, so I kind of get it, but I don't know. And then also on the heels of that, they dropped the full self-driving option from the Model 3 on the configurator.
That's probably a good thing.
And the reasoning behind that in a tweet from Musk is like there was too much confusion as to what it meant.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm just like, I don't even want to know what happened.
Also,
but it sounds good.
Elon Musk's Twitter has gotten a lot better to read now that he has this government minder with him. So
how so?
Oh, because now he isn't like calling people out or anything or
but
being
I kind of like
insensitive.
that.
I mean, I get that, but I mean, no, I like his Instagram's still fantastic. His Instagram has all these little nuggets of wisdom. They're just they're hilarious.
Musk says it's causing too much confusion. It's an Autoblog story. It's pretty funny. I'll leave it up there for a second in case you guys want to pause it on the stream as you're watching back. But yeah, that's kind of funny.
Yeah,
but
that is quite hilarious.
Anyway, moving off of MotorCult EV cast.
Yeah, I know, right? Oh my God.
I
think we're going to
interesting
engineering. All right. So as I mentioned, I elected not to go with the 6-speed with my car. I mean, they were pretty close in price between transmissions. I could have totally gotten a 6-speed for the price of a 5-speed, according to the warranty company, what they say it should be worth.
Mm-hmm.
But all right, so this is the thing. The 6-speed has 6 gears in it, and it's got 2 final drives, which is ridiculous.
So it has 2 differentials?
Yes. It's got 1 differential, and it's got another one that comes off on the other side with a different final drive on it. So first through 4th gear have a final drive of 3.941.
Okay, that's pretty short.
Yeah. Oh, also, the actual gear ratio, final drive, the gear ratio, drive ratios. First gear, 3.538. Second,
that's a really short gear.
Yeah, it's very short. It doesn't do anything.
Autocross.
Yeah, exactly. Second gear is 2.238. Third gear is 1.535. Fourth gear is 1.171. Fifth gear is 1.085. Sixth gear is 0.853.
Wow, okay, so no direct drive gear.
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That is kind of weird. I feel like I see that a lot of transmissions. It's either 4th or 5th.
Yeah. But so first through 4th gear has a final drive ratio of 3.941. 5th and 6th is 3.350.
So how do they do that, and why do they do that?
So, all right, so I'm going to do the why first and then the how.
Sure.
The why is for fuel emissions and for drivability.
Right, but you could do that with just a bigger gear set.
And drivability. I have no idea why that they chose to do
That
that.
just seems like it'd be more complex, heavy, easier to break.
I know. That's ridiculous.
Is the transmission case like physically too small to fit taller gears in it?
No,
It
no,
must be.
because it's a completely different case that they have that. But,
Right.
All right, so this is the thing. The transmission weighs like another like 250 pounds.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
believe that.
it's
Wow.
noticeably
Whoa.
heavier. Yeah, it's huge.
That transmission shouldn't even weigh 100 pounds on its own.
Yeah, it weighs. You cannot pick it up with one person. That's the thing, and it's like my Mazda 5's already weighs as much. It weighs as much as a fully
A short bus.
No, it weighs as much as a fully spec'd out Mazda Speed 3 with like Tucker in it.
A short bus.
Yeah. So, and it's it's still no, it weighs about as much as your average Camry at the end of the day.
Right. No, I was
But,
trying to make a joke,
yeah.
but it wasn't working.
No, because it's a very light vehicle. But all right, so this is the thing. That gearbox is also used on the Mazda Speed 3, Mazda Speed 6, and the Mazda 6 and 3 diesels of the later generation.
Okay.
And that's where that 5-speed Mazda 3 diesel fifth gear comes in. It comes
Right.
from this transmission. It
Okay.
makes it much more drivable. So the way that they actually did this is, they've basically, it's kind of like on the Omni twin stick, or not the Omni, the
the
Mirage
Colt or
twin,
whatever,
the
yeah.
Colt Mirage twin sticks, where you would have that second, that second jack shaft that goes out to the actual output, and that has a different, basically just a different gear set on it. It's got just a final drive that's completely different, and then that goes down to the output shaft.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's the thing is, it just weighs so much more, and that's why I didn't go with it. It's one of those things where it's like,
Well, it just sounds like it would have been really nice to have, but the added cost and complexity wouldn't have been worth it.
and they were also, they didn't want to have thinner, like physically thinner gears, and
Okay.
that's why they went with the way they went with. And if I remember correctly, I think the 5th and 6th gears are actually on that second shaft as well,
So I'm guessing
so they could handle the more power.
it's probably got an extra fork down, and it's just got like
Yeah.
basically
Yes,
a
it-
2-speed transmission on the diff.
Yep, it's got an extra fork on it. Yeah,
That's so weird.
it's super weird looking.
It's kind of cool, but yeah, if that means
It's-
it's probably got 4 shift forks on it.
And that's the thing. It's like, if it wasn't for the fact, like, I love weird things like this, but I just, I wish it wasn't so heavy. I would totally put that in my van.
Right.
But yeah, with everything I've got going on with my van, the slightly taller 5th gear, everything else is fine.
Mm-hmm.
My transmission really is. If you're looking for a 5-speed MZW transmission, the Mazda 5 transmission is the way to go. Because if you
And look, you have a Mazda 5.
Yeah, look at that. And it's one of those things. If I end up going turbo or something, for whatever reason, if I wanted to, that slightly longer gearing will be a good thing, because I'm gonna be in the power band for a longer period of time.
And I'm guessing you could rob the taller final drive from another trans. That would probably be better too. But
Yeah,
it's probably easier than swapping a gear.
yeah, exactly. It's just and it's one of those things where the transmission. If I was making like 400 horsepower, I might go with the 6-speed, but I'm not. And I never will
The
be.
6-speed's stronger, but I guess now that you mentioned that it's in the MPS 3 and MPS 6, that makes sense.
And then since I think, if I remember correctly, they have the 5th and 6th gear on that second shaft, so those 4 gears take up the same amount of space as 5 gears. So they have physically more space. It's like with the Honda D series, those are the widest physically widest gears that Honda ever made.
Yep.
To make them reliable, and
Yep.
it's the same concept here.
That's why the D series transmissions are so strong.
Exactly. So, on that bombshell, I think if you have a Mazda 3, a Mazda 6, or a Mazda 5, and you are doing a performance build where you are making under 400 to 500 horsepower, go with a Mazda 5 transmission. It's the best way you can get.
That's useful consumer advice.
Useful consumer advice. It is. All right, there we go. Well, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you on Wednesday.
Catch you guys on Wednesday.